What's up, lasagnas? It's DylanLasagna here, and welcome to my Raw reactions for the August 22nd, 2016 episode. Now, I didn't watch all Monday Night Raw last night, like the full episode, and I had to watch all the highlights from the WWE's YouTube channel because I was kind of busy yesterday doing some things. And I'm going to try to talk about my Raw reactions as best as possible from what I learned last night on Monday Night Raw. And if I'm talking about some bullshit smack that didn't happen, then I'm sorry. I tried my best, and it's my fault for not watching Raw. So, with that being said, let's talk about my Raw reactions. The show opened up with Mick Foley and Stephanie McMahon asking Finn Balor to come to the ring so he can relinquish the WWE Universal Championship. Why is that? Well, 2 days ago at SummerSlam, Seth Rollins performed a buckle bomb on Finn Balor onto the barricade, and Finn Balor kind of like this as he landed like arm first onto the barricade. Like, he kind of botched the move, but it's nobody's fault here. Like, Finn Balor injured his shoulder. He suffered a torn labrum, and we're learning now it'll require at least 6 months of recovery, so that really sucks. It completely derailed his momentum and completely derailed his career-defining moment that was winning the Universal Championship and becoming the first Universal Champion. And it sucked. So Finn Balor comes out, arm sling and all, and after giving an emotional speech and how he will be back to reclaim what's his, he gives the Universal Championship and vacates it. That really sucked. So, after Finn leaves, Seth Rollins comes out and he wants the Universal Championship because he believes he was the true winner. But here comes Sami Zayn, who wants a crack at the Universal Championship. And then here comes Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens and Big Cass, who, I think, if you take out the C in his name, what do you get? Big Ass. Yeah, here comes the big ass of Big Cass. And then everybody's favorite man to hate, Roman Reigns. Yep. And then Mick Foley sets up a series of matches to see who will be in the Fatal 4-Way for the Universal Championship next week on Monday Night Raw. So, we have Rusev versus Big Cass, Seth Rollins versus Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns versus Chris Jericho, and Kevin Owens versus Neville in all the qualifying matches for the Fatal 4-Way for the Universal Championship next week. So that seemed to be cool, but I still feel bad for Finn Balor, and I wish him a very speedy recovery and a very good recovery, and I hope he comes back even stronger. So let's talk about the first of 4 qualifying matches. Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins. And one was a badass matchup right here. These two always have good chemistry right here. I don't know if like the ankle injury Sami Zayn suffered was storyline or legit. I think it was just part of the match because Seth Rollins was targeting it and Sami Zayn kind of botched it a little bit. But I think it was all part of the match. And then Seth Rollins got the win with the pedigree in a badass match. And Sami Zayn always looks like a resilient and always looking good every time he loses. But I just feel bad he doesn't have a storyline or a feud to go with after his victory with Kevin Owens. But Seth Rollins gets the win here with the pedigree to advance to the Universal Championship match next week on Raw. The next qualifier had Kevin Owens versus Neville, and this was also another great match because of the chemistry that Owens and Neville had since they were down in NXT. And this is absolutely phenomenal. Like, I always liked Neville. Like, I really wish that WWE would properly use him. And I was actually wondering if WWE would pull the trigger and have Neville in the Universal Championship match. That'd be pretty cool. But no, Kevin Owens gets the win with the pop-up powerbomb after Chris Jericho provides some distraction or no, Kevin Owens didn't hit a pop-up powerbomb. He hit a torture rack spinning move like as a second finisher, and then got the victory there. But overall, that was a fantastic match right there. To determine the third qualifier, Big Ass or Big Cass took on Rusev, the United States Champion, and I'm surprised Roman Reigns didn't come out to distract Rusev. And Rusev ribs were taped up after the beatdown Roman Reigns gave him last night, or 2 days ago at SummerSlam. And then this was an okay match, and I'm surprised Rusev wasn't screaming at the crowd or something. And then as Big Cass was about to go for the Empire Elbow, Rusev just rolled out of the ring and just walked out of the match. It sucked. I really wanted to see more of that match. But Big Cass advances to the Fatal 4-Way at next week on Raw. And do I expect it to win the match? Nah. But will he put on a good showing? Absolutely. In terms for Rusev, what's next for him? Who knows? Does it sound like I'm bullshitting my reactions right now? Because I kind of am, because I watched all the highlights, and the highlights don't tell me shit what happened on Raw. So I'm trying my best here, okay? Roman Reigns took on Chris Jericho in the final qualifying match for the Universal Championship Fatal 4-Way. And this match was pretty good. Chris Jericho nearly got the victory thanks to Kevin Owens, his butt buddy now, with a super kick to Roman Reigns' eye. Chris Jericho hit a code breaker, and Chris Jericho took way too long, almost got the victory, but then Roman Reigns kicked out, and Chris Jericho bitch slapped him around like a pussy, and then Roman Reigns went on a rampage, Superman punching both Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, spearing Chris Jericho for the victory. 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns is back in the world title picture, and I really hope that he doesn't win the Universal Championship next week, because it would suck, and everyone's going to be pissed that he's back in the world title picture. And what I'm hoping for is that Rusev will cost him the Universal Championship match next week. Rusev will pound the pudding out of him, lock in the accolade, prevent Roman Reigns from winning the US or the Universal Championship, and then maybe, possibly, Seth Rollins will most likely win the Universal Championship match next week on Raw. Charlotte came out to address the women's division, I guess, because I don't know what really happened. Yeah, she came out to address her match at SummerSlam with Sasha Banks, and now that she's the champ, she has no competition left because Sasha Banks is injured, and she won't be here for a while, which sucks. When in reality, she actually is kind of injured, and she's not going to be here for a while because she's going to be at home recovering from nagging injuries that she's been having for a while. But it's understandable. Like, everyone needs to recover from nagging injuries from time to time. Like, the schedule for WWE is grueling, so I kind of get. I like WWE's move here with Sasha Banks, but I kind of disagree with the timing though. But anyway, Mick Foley comes out, and Charlotte wants the night off for some reason, and Mick Foley comes out to introduce Raw's newest addition to the women's division. And who do we get? Hey, we brought some Bayley. You know what? We got some Bayley. Finally, we finally got Bayley on the main roster on Raw. Although, I kind of wanted it on SmackDown, but now that Sasha Banks will be out for like a month or so, I think it was the right call to put her on Raw. And then Bayley comes out, gives Mick Foley a hug as her official confirmation that she's on the main roster. And Bayley wants a crack at Charlotte's Women's Championship match, but Charlotte wants her to Bayley to prove herself in a match against Dana Brooke. And Bayley wins, obviously, with the taking Dana to Bayplex City, or Hug City, with the Bayley to Bayley suplex, and Bayley is gunning for Charlotte's Women's Championship. And now, all the 4 horsewomen are on the main roster, finally. except for Becky Lynch because she's on SmackDown, and Charlotte, Sasha, and Bayley are on Raw, which kind of sucks for Becky. Oh well. But it's finally good to have Bayley on the main roster. It's legit. Your WWE World Tag Team Champions came out to celebrate their year-long reign as the WWE Tag Team Champions. Not only that, but because they're back at full strength with the return of Big E 2 days ago at SummerSlam. And how are they going to celebrate it? By breaking a piñata, which I meant, by the way, it's a magical unicorn piñata filled with booty O's, which, by the way, they make sure you ain't booty. Then they were about to get started, but here comes Luke Palos and Carl Bob Squarepants, and they come out to crash the festivities, and they want a tag team championship rematch, and they don't. New Day appeared they don't want to give a shit, but they do like the idea of having a match. So Big E wants a match with those two men in the form of Carl Anderson. It does lead to a match. It's okay in sorts. And then Big E wins with some help from Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods with the big ending, and Kofi and Xavier took out Luke Gallows with Trouble in Paradise and whatever Xavier Woods' finisher is. And Big E gets the win in his return match, or of sorts, I guess. And New Day is once again back at full strength. The Dudley Boyz said their farewells to the WWE Universe and the WWE because, well, they felt old as hell, but they were actually really leaving, reportedly, because reportedly they opted out of their contracts or decided not to renew their contracts when they were offered a 1-year extension on them, and they decided not to take it up. So now they're free agents apparently now, and so whatever happened last night was real. Their goodbyes were legitimate. So they said goodbye, and they said if it weren't for the WWE Universe, there would be no Team 3D, no Dudley Boyz, and all that stuff. So here come the shining stars to ruin all the bullshit that I believed, that I thought was a storyline at first. That, oh, this is not really happening. This is just might lead to something. And here come the shining stars. They give Bubba Ray and Devon tickets to Puerto Rico! And then the Dudley Boyz give Epico a 3D, and they're about to give Primo a 3D through the table, but then here comes Gallows and Anderson, because they're salty as a pretzel to what happened to them at the hands of the New Day. They attack the Dudley Boyz so they can get some heat on them, and they hit the Friendship is Magic Killer on Bubba Ray on the outside, and then they do the same to Devon, this time through the table. And that's how the Dudley Boyz are riding off into the sunset, but not with that one last 3D. And I don't know, I kind of found that I don't know, it wasn't really sold well, but it was a good way for them to ride off into the sunset, but I wish it was kind of better executed. But overall, I wish the best of luck to whatever the Dudley Boyz are going to do next with their careers, or if this is really their swan song, or I don't know what the hell's going to happen to them. But overall, it was good seeing the Dudley Boyz again, in the WWE for the past year. It's kind of sucks that they're leaving, and I wish WWE would have used them better during their run. But overall, sucks to see them go. I think that was pretty much all I covered here in my Raw reactions. I think there was 2 shit filler segments that were on Raw, which included Titus O'Neil attacking Bob Backlund and Darren Young and cutting a promo that was really bad, and Braun Strowman defeating another local jobber of sorts. Overall, this was a pretty decent episode of Monday Night Raw. Kind of thought it was better than what SummerSlam produced. Just looking at all the highlights from WWE's YouTube channel, like the Raw highlights, this was kind of better than what SummerSlam produced from a storyline production standpoint to a show standpoint. It was kind of good, and I'm really glad Bayley's finally on the main roster. I can't wait for the Universal Championship match next week, and it's gonna be a really exciting show. As we head towards Clash of the Champions, but it really sucks that Finn Balor is gonna be out for 6 months with that torn labrum shoulder injury. I feel bad for him. But at the same time, it's not his fault. It's not Seth's fault. It's just the nature of wrestling. You never know what's gonna happen. And yeah, it just sucks that his first world title reign had to end this way, due to a serious injury. And especially after 4 weeks into his main roster run, I feel really bad for him. Hopefully he recovers really soon, recovers well, gets stronger than ever. No need to rush back into the wrestling scene yet, Finn Balor. Once you have surgery, once you're done with the recovery process, no need to rush. When you're ready to go, I'll be waiting, cheering you on, and be glad you'll be back in the Universal title hunt and back in WWE. Anyway, lasagnas, hope you guys liked my Raw reactions. I'm really sorry that they kind of sounded bullshitty because I wasn't able to kind of watch it this week because I was doing things. Don't forget to drop a like on this video if you enjoyed my Raw reactions. Leave a comment down below for your Raw reactions for the August 22nd, 2016 episode. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow me on all my social media links there in the description below. And always be delicious.